So I'm finally able to make a video about my camera bag because I finally bought a camera bag. So, welcome back to another video. My name is Bear and this is the fifth camera talk video. Today we are going to talk about what's inside of my camera bag. Before I start talking about what's inside of my camera bag, I want to tell you guys quickly why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because of two reasons. One, because I bought a new camera bag. I didn't have a camera bag before. And another reason why I want to talk about this topic, what's inside of my camera bag, is because this year in the filmmaking world, for the filmmaking geeks, this year is just amazing. You have the Canon EOS R5 that's coming out, the Canon EOS R6. For the Sony users, you have the Sony a7S III, which is an amazing camera. But I think gear doesn't really matter in the terms of you don't need the most expensive gear. I want to show you guys what type of gear I am using. Without further ado, let's get into what's inside of my camera bag. So let's get the first thing out of the way. I'm using the Canon EOS RP with the 15 to 35mm right now, and that's usually the setup I use when I'm vlogging outside or make the vlogging style videos. So the Canon EOS RP, I already made a video about it, and if you want to see that video, the 3 reasons why I use the Canon EOS RP, you can click right up here so you can see the video. The guys we don't saw it, a quick overview. So the Canon EOS RP has 4K crop, shoots 26.2 megapixels. It has a flip out screen, it can shoot raw photos. Full frame camera, it's around 1400 euros/dollars. You can find it for cheaper, but this camera is just my favorite camera. This camera is just... Second thing I want to address, the lens. I'm shooting on a 15 to 35mm RF 2.8, which is a fast lens, which makes it easier to shoot in dark places or low light situations. And I just love the wide angle lens. Like, I also made a video about this lens, so if you want to see that video, I will link it up here and in the description down below. Check it out. With that out of the way, let me show you guys what's inside of my camera. First thing first, second lens I'm using, the 24 to 105, and I got this lens when I bought the Canon EOS RP. I'm not using this lens that often. f4.0 lens, which is it's a slower lens than the 50 to 35mm. That doesn't make it bad. I'm only using this lens when I'm out shooting B-roll, when I want to have a close-up shot from something. And I'm using this lens also when I portrait. I don't have a portrait lens right now. I prefer to have the RF 85mm, but I don't have it. I don't own it right now, so I'm using this lens. It's not the usual thing to do, but you need to do with what you have. So this is the lens I'm using, the RF 24 to. With that being said, let's go to the rest of my camera bag. So let me take a sip. Let's get into what is next in my camera bag. So the next thing is the Dji Mavic Mini. The Dji Mavic Mini is something that I added recently in my camera bag. I think besides the Canon EOS RP, I think this is the best addition to my camera bag yet. Let me explain to you why. So, before I started making vlogs and things like that, I always thought about the way I wanted to make my videos, and I always liked different perspectives, like from all over the place. And I love doing those types of shots, but I want to use my gear in a more creative way. So I made the video, it's my most recent video, why I think using the Dji Mavic Mini in your vlogs is just an amazing addition to your vlog. It's just pretty light, it's 249 grams. That's why I use this Dji Mavic Mini. That's why it's in my camera bag. So next up is the GorillaPod. So this is the Joby GorillaPod 3K, and the 3K stands for 3 kilograms. So this GorillaPod can carry 3 kilograms, which is just amazing. It was like 60 bucks, so it wasn't that expensive, and it can carry around my entire setup. My setup contains of 15 to 35mm, the Canon EOS RP, and the microphone, the Rode Video Mic Pro. Just for the price and what it can do, it's just amazing, and I always use it for vlogging style videos. It's not that huge, as you can see, so it can fit my camera bag pretty easily. So yeah, the Joby GorillaPod 3K I think is the way to go. So let me quickly mention my microphone. So I use the Rode VideoMic Pro. It's just an amazing microphone. It picks up the audio pretty well. When I'm having the dead cat on it, it's just canceling out a lot of noise around me, so that's just amazing. Can't show you guys right now because I'm using the microphone, and if I don't, the audio is just bad. So yeah, believe me, the microphone is over there. That being said, let's go to the next part. So we're going to talk about some miscellaneous things you need to have in your camera bag. First thing is, I have a raincoat. It's going to be pretty handy when it's raining outside, and most of the time in my country it's always raining, so this will be very useful to have in my camera bag. So if you don't have such a thing in your camera bag, a raincoat, make sure you get one, because if your gear gets wet, woo, that's not the best thing in the world. You don't want to have that, so make sure you get one. The second thing is a wind blower, a dust blower. It's useful for when you are going to the beach or when you are at a place that has a lot of dirt around, and if you have your gear all around like I have, I always put my lenses all over the place. Sometimes when I do that, sand or dirt or things like that come into the lens or into the camera, and you don't want to wipe that out with just your finger or your shirt. So if you have a wind blower, you don't think about those types of things, because something like this is just too small to think about. You never think about this thing. You always think about buying new lenses, new GoPros and things like that. But having such a thing, a dust blower, is just amazing tool to have in your camera bag. So make sure you get one. So the last thing, but not least, I have a cloth in my camera bag, and this cloth is basically for the lens. For when I'm out, the lens is just a little bit dirty, I always clean it with my cloth. It's just better than just having your t-shirt, because if you do it with your t-shirt can have some dust on it, some dirt on it, and if you clean the lens with it, you can have some scratches and things like that, and you don't want to have that on your most expensive lens. So always try to use a cloth. I will link all the things I covered in the description down below, so make sure you check it out. So the last thing, but not least, is my UV filter. I have a UV filter on top of my lens. The UV filter is just helping me protect my lens, because sometimes I bump my lens into a bunch of things, chairs, people. This UV filter protects the front side of my lens so it doesn't get scratched, it doesn't get damaged. So I use this UV filter, and I've always had it in my camera bag. I always have it on my lens actually, but the lens is in my camera bag. So I will link some UV filters in the description down below. Check it out. They aren't expensive, but it will help you in the long run. With that being said, let me get it back on. Fixed. So with that being said, I think I covered everything what's in my camera bag. And as I said in the beginning of this video was meant to be show you guys what's in my camera bag, what I'm using on a daily basis to create my videos, just to show you guys that you don't need the most expensive gear. And I know this type of gear isn't cheap either, but you don't need that expensive gear to create a dope videos. I hope you guys got something out of this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, make sure you subscribe, and tell me what type of gear you guys use. What type of gear do you guys have in your camera bag? I'm really curious what you guys use to create your videos. That being said, I think we're going to end this video right here. I see you guys in the next video.